Welcome back, everybody. No camera tonight. I don't know what happened. Magically, the software doesn't work all of a sudden. I don't know. Don't care. I'm too frustrated. Sat here for 20 minutes trying to figure it out. Magically, it doesn't work. I didn't do anything different. But good to see everybody. Just going to go no camera on that ass. It's all good. I'm not that good looking anyway. I'm pretty damn ugly, if I'm honest. If you haven't done so, please go hit the like button, hit the notification bell, and subscribe. I can't share this on Twitter. Why? Because Twitter won't log in for me. It's a big cluster F over here, and I'm frustrated. So I'm just going to move on. I'm just going to roll on like nothing happened. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Just gonna move on like nothing happened. I am going to put the camera box up there. And as you see, EOS webcam utility. And yes, I know you're going to Google it and you're going to say, all you have to do is no. That's not how it works. All you have to do is ain't gonna get it. I don't know. I'm just frustrated and I don't want to deal with it. So it's all good. We're gonna talk charts anyway. So I'm glad to see you all here. 31 of you on here, 21 likes. Everybody, please go hit like. The more we get, the better. Move this around. If you guys would go share this to Twitter, that would be awesome. I'll work on it after the stream, trying to get the damn. Just trying to get the friggin' camera to work. I don't know what the hell happened, man. It was working fine today. I had multiple consults all day long. Nothing. No problem at all. Then, ba-bam. Anyway, as the thumbnail said, I want to talk about what's in question and what's out of question, okay? What can happen, what can't happen. I've got the short-term, low time frame chart pulled up right here, right now, for Bitcoin. I want to talk about it a little bit. So recently, as recently as yesterday, we saw this structure break, this white line right here. We saw this structure break form down and create a lower low. For the first time in quite a while, this entire time you had made higher lows on the way up here. The entire time, higher low, higher low, higher low. The entire time chugging along, not missing a beat. So what's happened since then? Well, we had a structure break. When we had that structure break, as we thought may be coming, we warned about this. We said, hey, this may happen. You may get a structure break here. This thing may fail. It may turn over. It may roll over. It may quit, etc. Finally, it did it. Structure break. Chart rolled over. We've been waiting on this. So once it broke right here, we began. Why did that pop up? I didn't touch anything. What the hell? Anyway, I had to reset my computer too because the internet cut off and quit working, and I had to do a whole bunch of super frustrating over here. Once that structure break happened, we waited for a retest. Now I did short this, and I already took profits way down here. It was fine. I already took my money and walked. Next, I waited on the retest to come back up, and I re-entered another short over here. I'm still in that short now. What we have seen is a test of the bottom side of that structure that we were holding on to before. Since that structure has broken and retested, this is a bearish as hell scenario. And why do I say that? Well, we pull a fib on this. We can see this recent low after we had this peak. We can pull from the top down to the bottom. Right? And we can see golden pocket run right here on the 2-hour chart. You got to pull down with the big wick. It ran up. It had some buy pressure there. I didn't give up easy, did it? After that, come up and tested the bottom of this trend line and has since rolled over and played dead. Stopped dead on the nose. We're going to see here in the next 6 to 8 hours what she's made of. Can she hold up here? Can she push back through the trend line? Or are we going to get a bearish scenario where we just did a tuck and run and this thing rolls back over and starts coming down more? I expect this to happen right here. Why do I expect that to happen? Again, we talked about this on the other stream. CME gap from the big weekend move that happened. This is why I often don't get excited about big weekend moves. Let me have a drink real quick. Got a little whiskey tonight. I don't often get excited about big weekend moves because when that CME market opens back up, there's a gap formed in the chart. That gap, as you see, is right here, has not closed. It goes all the way down to roughly 19,995 or 20,000. You can expect a 20,000 run to happen here. It's almost a layup that it happens here. What can we expect to see on the back end? Well, that's up for determination. It already tried to get down to this 20,000 flat level once. It already broke through the 20,000 level without retesting. It never came back down here and retested. Never happened. So one is to assume that we get the opposite. One is to assume that we come down and test this trend line. That's not happened yet. Come down, test the trend line, test 20,000, and let's see if we can hold on to it. This is a key level for a couple reasons. Number one, $20,000 is extremely psychological. It's very brain bashing to say, okay, yeah, $20,000. If I were to tell you $21,373, you would say, so 21,000? You would immediately go to a nice round flat number. That's just the way round numbers work. We haven't tested it after we broke it. It was previously support that failed. Then it tested the back of it. Now it's broken back over it. It needs to test the top of it. We're not out of the woods yet, is what I'm trying to say. Now, could that go farther? Could this structure break farther and roll over more and play dead even more? Well, I think it's possible. I'm going to show you what I mean here. If we go step off of this CME chart for a moment. I've got that same level marked right here because it's a retracement level. I'm going to step out to the higher time frames here for a moment. All right. We have this trend line right here. Pull that a little tighter. I'm in linear mode. Why am I in linear mode? What the hell? All right. So yeah, we have this trend line right here. Came down, broke, has not retested. I talked about this yesterday. I want to see this thing come over here and test these trend lines, test these back test all this support that it broke, that it never did. This is the real test. This area right here is the real stress test. If we can hold it, great. We're going to get a better buy opportunity either here or here, one of these two areas. Once we get that buy opportunity, that's our chance to take a leap here. Could we fail? Yes, we could fail. If we fail, how far will it go? Hang on a second. Fucking YouTube's telling me to send ads out. Yeah, man, I don't know, dude. It's whatever, beast mode. It's just the camera, whatever. Everything else is working. It's the second or third time this has happened to me. I didn't update anything. Last time, it was a update, a software update. So that's what made it not want to work. I went over there and Googled it. As soon as I did that, what did I do last time? What did I do last time? I can't remember what I did last time because I got frustrated and spent like an hour trying to get it to work. Whatever, man. I'll get it working eventually. I had an HDMI setup. It never worked right. So I switched to this EOS utility setup. It doesn't work right. Frustrating as hell. Really, really is. I'm going to try to get that HDMI working again, but it didn't work last time. So I don't know. So real test right in that area. I want to bring up moving averages here because if you look at the 200 moving average that we broke and never retested, you're heading right for it now. Getting stuck under this trend line and getting pinched is going to move this back toward this 200 moving average, which is sitting right at about 20,000. It's almost in the cards for 20,000 to get hit. I have my take profit level set near 20,000 for my short that I have running. I expect it to come happen. I expect the chickens to roost on that one. Come back home to roost. The real test is, are we going to stay above this 200 after it tested? Because you see right here, we just blew right through it. We didn't test it on the way up. Smashed right through it. I don't like it not testing first, or at least hesitating here. That's a sign that is a little bit too fast, too soon. Shot its load, now it can't recover. If we fail that, there's a possibility we bring in new lows. What is the percentage possibility now that we bring in new lows and we manage to run down here somewhere? What would I give that percentage at this moment? Probably 30%. The fact that this thing broke north and got above support the way it did lays out the story of, I want to try to hold support. That's got to happen first, a test of support. If it fails support and flips it and it turns into resistance, then we're looking at back testing this white trend line. If it fails that, Then we're looking at coming down here. That's a lot of stuff that's got to fail in a row for that to happen. So, lends me to believe that's not an easy out. Okay? Just lends me to believe it's not an easy out. So, I'm going to assume no. I'm going to assume that doesn't happen. I'm going to assume that we hang out above support, above all this good mess right here, and we don't fall below it. When we fall below it, if we fall below it, I'm ready to pounce, everyone. I'm ready to unload down here if we get the chance, okay? I'm fully ready. I'm also smart enough to know that timeline-wise, we're running out of time here, okay? Midline is approaching. At or around this midline is typically already we had our bottom or we form our bottom. And as you see, we're right near it. And this is cyclical. This has happened multiple times in Bitcoin's history. Talked to a gentleman today, and you know, the same sentiment rings true with everyone who doesn't chart. They all say, well, we don't know what the price is going to be, and we don't know how high it's going to go or how low it's going to go. Well, that's what we do for a living here. We find spots, and we buy and sell based on that. We make a living off of that. At least I do. Same thing happened back here. We found our bottom at or near midway. That's back in 2019. Same thing back here. We'll go through this again. This is 2015. You see we found our bottom just before midway, and then we had a retest just after midway. All right? Got a low in here no matter what. Did we get like the bottom price? No, we got pretty darn close though, okay? Same thing over here. We go back even more, all the way. This is a long way down, isn't it? All the way back to 2012. Similar story. Had your run up before midway, but after right around midway, you found your second retrace floor. It was the bottom floor. Here's where you got in after, all right? This one's a little sharper, and this is way back in the early days of Bitcoin. So is it going to do exactly that again? I don't know. What I can say is we're getting very close to the point of no return here. It's either going to fall down or it ain't going to fall anymore at all. This is either the last bit of retrace or we don't make this historic retrace. What could happen in the markets to cause this thing to fall back that far? Well, in case you guys didn't know, DCG, Genesis, Grayscale are all in a little bit of hot water right now. If you guys don't know who the Winklevoss twins are, I want you to go Google them and see if you can figure it out. They're very, very rich guys who first started out with Facebook. If you saw the movie The Social Network, you know who they are. Well, they're real life people. That's the real life names. So essentially they started their own exchange, and that was Gemini. Gemini did the same thing FTX did. They took customer funds and invested it. They didn't just leave customer funds in there. They treated it just like a bank. They took customer funds and they started doing stuff with it. There's a $1 billion IOU floating right now on Grayscale. A $1 billion IOU that doesn't have the backing to be paid. So what happens to that IOU? What are we supposed to do here? Right? If these companies declare bankruptcy, and it looks like they're gonna, their assets have to be liquidated to cover the debt. That means someone's got to sell $1 billion worth. There's an IOU floating around. That IOU's got to come due. Whoever needs to get that note's going to get that note. So where does the money go? Well, the damn sure gets sold to who? Well, we don't know. That would trigger off a really, really ugly event, and yet another exchange would go down. What would that do for the sentiment? What would that do for people who have already bought and feel like they're king shit right now because ever since the new year, they're killing it? That would potentially find us down here at our historic retrace level. How far down? Well, that's up for debate. Anywhere between 14 to 10,000, anywhere in there. All that low would be a lower low, and that would be miserable, okay? Absolutely miserable if that happened. So let's keep our eyes and our ears open. I don't want to rule out anything just yet. I do like this, again, cup and handle formation right here to play out. Okay, I'm here for it. I will absolutely buy on entry if we get that cup and handle formation, and I'll take a chance. If I fail, I have a small stop loss. I'll take my stop loss, and I'll find a better spot down low. That's the way I see it. I still can't change off that yet. I'm starting to see a little bit of weakness right here. I know you look at that and you say, oh, that's bullish engulfing, Keith. again, I understand what you're saying, but I need you to look at everything else and see the bigger picture here. We're still screaming high on the RSI, still way overbought. It went way too far. Okay. This is going to reset. When that RSI gets to about 50, that'll be time to stop and watch and see what's going to happen. Right there is the 50 line. As you see, we're a country mile from that 50 line. So, no stone unturned here. It may not be done going down. It may not be done going up, but it damn sure don't look so great right now. MACD got pretty high, shot straight up, never stopped. When you have the blue and the orange line that are very far apart from each other, like you see right here, whenever you see this, when you see that much divergence, that's the D in MACD, this tends to lend them back together. And as you see, they're trying to come back together. I expect this to move sharply back down. Okay, I can't control it. I can't make it happen. Just kind of what I expect. Let's keep an eye over the next few days. Now, this could happen over the weekend, but I doubt it. I doubt it. You're either going to get some really, really ugly news that is going to cause everyone to go into a tailspin, or you're going to get some wonderful news that everybody's going to get all happy about again. Either way, I'm prepared to go. I'm not trading the news. I never do. I don't care about the news. I'm going to be here before or after it ever happens, and I'll buy and sell based on that. So, there's my layout. I'm sticking to it. Let's go answer some questions and say hey to everybody. And I know my camera doesn't work for the people just coming in. I'm sorry. Big Tex, what's up? Win Mullet, Fabio, Adam Man, Ronan, Jag, Educated Dummy, Manolo, Dunamis, Bud Wessel, Educated Dummy, Nades, Canny and Entertainment, Ryan McDonald, Brandful, how you doing, ma'am? Ropedo. Well, wait, what? That's an awesome name. What's up, Beast Mode? Ron, finally I'm able to make. Hey, what's up, Ron Wilson? Good to see you, brother. Jeremy Monroe. Hello. hello. Mike Isaac, what's up, brother? Good to see you. What is VRA doing? We can look at VRA. Let me write that down. Hang on. I'm gonna go around the market here in a moment. We'll look at everything. Lunatic Prophet, good to see you. Tombstone, what's up, brother? Good to see you. What are order blocks and fair value gaps? We'll look at that in a second, brother. Hang on 1 second. FVGs. Let's look at FVGs. All right. Anon, good to see you. Danny Deep Pockets, good to see you. Nick Fresh, good to see you, brother. I know you've been working. What's up, Mountain Man? Good to see you. I'm 6'5" and 220, and there's two of me. Stupid. It could wick to the 100 when we see the 50 cross up. That's a good point, Mullet. He's talking about the moving averages. We could see a move all the way down to the 150 right here, which is all the way down at around 18,000 at the moment. Again, decent entry. Not going to complain. Not much higher than 15,000. Okay. That's better than 21.5, better than 22. Not quite 15. So you did pretty damn good. And you didn't need to buy over and over and over and over and over and over and then say I called the bottom. That's the other problem I've got with that. You're going to have a lot of people who say, I called the bottom. I told you. I told you guys. I called the bottom. Yeah, you've been calling the bottom for 6 fucking months. Grow up. No one gives a shit about your pissing contest. I promise. No one cares. Okay? Bluntly honest, nobody likes to show off. Less people will pay attention to you when you think you need to brag. All there is to it. Can I take a look at Kava? Yes, I can. Kava. SP500, we can do that. What's a good entry for Algo, bro? All right, so let's start with VRA. All right, USDT. All right, yep. VRA super stretching its neck out right here. This can't maintain much longer, honestly. Broke through the 200, pegging itself out. Let's look at the weekly real quick. Yeah, broke the 8 and 21 and is heading toward the 50. Unsustainable move. This is going to pull back. Everything's having its little 200. I say everything. A lot of assets are having their 200 moving average run. That's exactly what you see this one doing here. It's not the only one either. Let me look at some others. Grab this chart, pull this up over here. So you got VRA up 10%. Just the other day, comp went up 35%. Man, I went up 33%. They're all having their little move. Yet, a lot of assets are just sitting flat. So you're seeing people find what we're finding, right? You're seeing the same movements happen everywhere. I just don't know if this is sustainable. Just don't see it. I just don't see it being something that's going to last. You can't stretch your neck out this far on the RSI. 92 on the RSI and expect that to maintain. It can't keep it up. I'd be willing to short that soon. A good fallback point would be the 200 at 004 flat or 0041. I think it'll come back to at least that level before anything significant happens. You might get a bit of an inverse head and shoulders form here. That's another thing I've been looking for, those inverse head and shoulders to show a reversal pattern. Haven't fully seen them play out yet, but I hope they do. If you haven't done so, please go hit like, y'all. Like, comment, subscribe, all that shit. Let me get a drink. Can't believe my camera isn't working. That's so frustrating, dude. I've tried to be professional and have like a professional setup, you know what I mean? And then damn if something doesn't go wrong right in the middle of what you're doing. Ugh. So, all right, that was VR8. Tombstone asked about fair value gaps. And this is an excellent opportunity to show you about fair value gaps. Let me grab an asset that we can use constantly. Ethereum. All right. If fair value gaps go a little something like this, anytime on a low time frame, not a high time frame, everybody, low time frame, when you see large candle bodies like this form, everybody who's good enough on the charts knows that, let me write this down, Matic. Everyone who's good enough on the chart knows nothing just goes up. Everything retraces. And I'm going to warn you beforehand, fair value gaps are a bit hit and miss on crypto. This is actually more of a forex equities kind of thing because they have far greater volume and there's far less snappy movement in those than there are in crypto, which is very snappy almost all the time. So whenever you see large candle bodies like this without a retrace, the area from the previous candle, which should be right here. Let me zoom in where you can see that. Right there. Up to the candles after, which is all the way up here. Everything in between this is a fair value gap. That's because you haven't had a retrace and the quote unquote fair value hasn't been tested yet. Okay. So you can draw a little box right here. And you can say, hey man, I've got a fair value gap that hasn't closed yet. Now I want to warn you, like I was saying, be careful with this because you're going to find them all over the place. Here's another one right here. Look at these back here. Here's another one. You could go a little farther than that. That one goes down a little farther than that. All right. I have a problem with fair value gaps when it comes to crypto because they are literally everywhere. So what you're going to see happen is someone's going to point out one and say, it hit. What about the other 13 that didn't? Okay. Essentially, you can see this is kind of a stair step down, and it's pretty darn symmetrical as well. You can honestly push this one up higher. All right. It's kind of symmetrical in order, one after the other after the other. Essentially, it's just testing support that it never tested. None of these support levels got tested, so you need a wick to come back through, test them all, and see what happens. That's a fair value gap trading scalping system. This was developed by Larry Williams. You'll see a ton of ICT, Inner Circle Trader, talking about everybody will always bring up that. But what they forget is ICT learned through Larry Williams. Okay. Larry Williams is kind of the OG at this. That's kind of the system he uses. Essentially, he looks for inefficiencies. There's an inefficiency gap. You can call it an inefficiency gap. You need to fill that inefficiency gap. It hasn't filled. It will likely fill. It's a matter of time. It's a lot simpler to not use this. And again, I'm going to warn you, this is for low time frames only. Crypto, it's more hit and miss. It works pretty darn well for Forex, though. I hope that was a good explanation for you. D now. If some of these are on whack exchanges, you got to let me know. Because if I can't find it on TradingView, I kind of don't like to chart them. If I have to go to Deck Screener, that's kind of a red flag for me to not even bother with it. A lot of times This shit on Deck Screener is trash anyway, and I shouldn't be looking at it to begin with. But, you know, in the interest of being cool, I try to do that kind of stuff anyway. Kava. I'm just monitoring Bitcoin kind of closely in the background, everybody. I don't want to miss sight of it. All right. Kava had a couple great days there. Same kind of move everywhere else. RSI's overstretched. Same 200. Oh, it hasn't gotten to the 200 moving average yet. Look at that. See, this is the difference in what you just saw with VRA, where it had ran to the 200 moving average. This one hasn't done that yet. 200 moving average is way up there. In fact, that's about 30 more percent to get up there. Is that going to do that? Well, hard pressed to say yes. Hard pressed to say no. Resistance is way up there. There's a solid possibility that happens. Maybe it continues to run. I'm not going to take a chance on it. I see the market getting really, really wonky here now at the top, and I don't want to take a chance on stuff that's already overbought. Just how I play it. There's a chance that runs the 200 though, so be smart. Again, blew through the 100 moving average and it's just sitting on top of it now. I actually appreciate that it tested the 50 and is now testing the 100 a little bit. This one was a little bit more controlled than Bitcoin. And as you see, it's also kind of lagging behind a little bit because of that. S&P 500. All right. Let's pull these moving averages off. Okay. So S&P 500 yesterday, this morning, opened with a pretty darn big gap pre-market. This thing bounced off that trend line. I expect this to come back here to this yellow box. Why? Well, two reasons. Number one, I have a fair value gap. Number two, that's a 618 retrace on this little short run up. If we fail this, that clears one of my target boxes, and I have another target box down here. Why? This thing never hit high time frame support. See this over here? This purple line is high time frame support. It never got tested. There are assets that did test this. So if you're asking me, I'm kind of bearish on S&P. There are assets that never tested that level. All right. So what are those? I mean, they already have tested it. I apologize. The Dow Jones. Look, this thing came back and tested high time frame support. See this? Interesting, right? And then after that, look what it did. Broke trend. S&P 500 has not done that. NASDAQ, similar situation here. Okay. I'll take these fibs off so you can just see the price action for what it is. High time frame support back here. Make it a little bigger. Never been tested. It's still got quite a bit to go from 11,300 to 9,700, 9,600. That's a hell of a drop. All right. As you see also, let's be super careful here because you have a head and shoulders forming on the NASDAQ, on the NAS 100. See that? That's a shoulder, head, shoulder. That's a defined neckline. Listen, folks, if that fails, that's going to get raunchy. You're going to have a lot of upset people on CNBC. All right? Jim Cramer is going to lose his fucking mind if that happens. Just keep in mind, I've got all the targets lined out for it already. I've been planning for this. Let's remind Jim Cramer of that when this happens, that some people already had it planned out and already knew it was coming. All right? I wanted to show you some of that stuff. I've had multiple people tell me in the last few days that crypto just follows the NASDAQ, Keith. There are similarities, but they are not identical. Don't do that. Just chart them separately. Just chart them separately. Don't get cute. Don't think you got all the answers. No one has all the answers. We just try to make the best decision we can here. Algorand. Someone asked what would be a good buy-in price. This is tough because everything's already moved up some. Algorand, bit of a lagger, always has been. There's still a possibility this thing runs up here to 28 cents. I'm kind of happy it hesitated and slowed down because it shows me not everything is just going to go ape shit. But the 200 moving average is right around 28 cents. It got overbought, but it's already retreated back to the 50 line. Not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. But it wouldn't be a terrible idea to enter and take a chance. You can set a stop loss under the 50 moving average, and if it fails, you lost only a little. And then it's going to make a lower low anyway at that point, so you're going to get a chance to buy down here regardless. But this thing never touched the 200. Never did it. So there's a possibility this thing runs up to the 200. I've already taken profits on a couple of mine. I'll show you the ones I did buy and sell. ICP was one of them. You can see my buy line right there. 821 cross, broke trend, so I bought. It ran to the 200 and stopped. SHA, Safe Haven. Similar situation, folks. Bought it down here, 821 cross. Didn't break trend, but I saw everything else breaking it, so I went ahead and took a chance. Almost to the 200 moving average. Not quite. I sold just up here. Went ahead and got out because it got close enough, and I was happy with the money that I made. Took my profits and ran. Those were the big ones that I bought, I believe. I don't think I bought any other big ones. Rose, I'm still in that. Yeah, still in this position. I haven't sold this one yet. 821 cross, broke this short-term trend, took a chance. Hasn't quite hit the 200, may still do it, right? May still do it. Let's give it some time here and see what happens. Let's see. Can I check out band? Yeah, we can do band. Keith, could you talk about emotional decisions tonight? Maybe about the trading psychology and such. I always notice you have a no emotion indicator. Do you feel putting it up as an example? You're talking about this. It says no emotions on it. Right there. It says no emotions, smart risk, take profits. My psychology kind of goes as such, all right, y'all? Number one, no emotions. I'm here to make money. I'm not investing money to make friends, okay? I'm not investing in people. I don't trust people. People lie, people cheat, people steal. I trust charts. Now, in the business world, it's a little different. You have to have some faith in people in the business world because they're the mechanics that keep the machine running, okay? But on charts, dude, you're just buying and selling to make money. So there's my first firewall right there. There's no emotions involved. I'm either buying or I'm selling, and that's all there is to it. If I take a little loss, I'm not going to chase that chart. That's something else a lot of people love to do. They love to chase it after they lose. No, I can't lose. I got to go get it back. I lost that shit. I can't lose now. I got to go get it. Not necessary. Stop. You don't need to take it that far. You can just be okay with it and move on. It's fine. You need to have a plan before you ever buy anything. And by having a plan, I don't just mean, oh, I'm going to buy it and I'm going to take profit. That's not it. So let's pick a chart here. Filecoin. Okay. So my plan here to buy this. All right. I haven't bought it yet, obviously. Clearly, we had a run up through the trend line. So before I ever buy this, I'm going to say this. I need this thing to test the trend line first. That's the first thing I need to see. Doesn't check that box, it's not getting bought. Second, I need to see it hold the trend. I want to see it hold it for a day or two, day or three. How about that? Hold it and prove it. If you can, great. If you can't, I'm going to move on. Next, where am I going to buy? When am I going to buy? I'll buy it if it bounces off the line, great. How much profit can I make? If I can't make a 2-to-1 or a 3-to-1 profit, meaning risk to reward or reward to risk, if I risk $10, if I can't make 2-to-1 profit on my stop loss, I'm not going to do it. So I'll give you an example. I have $100. Okay. I'm going to risk 5% of my wallet on this particular chart. So that's $5. I'm going to set a stop loss of 8%. So 8% of $5. Okay. 32 cents. If I lose 32 cents, I'm out. That's the best I can do. Whatever the actual number is, I don't know. I don't care. The point is, I'm going to stop once I hit my stop loss. If I can't make 16%, then the stop loss wasn't worth putting at 8%. The risk is 8%. The reward needs to be at least 16. That's 2-to-1. Okay, if I can't get that, I'm going to move on. I'm not even going to take the trade unless that's there. I would prefer 3-to-1 or higher. Don't always get that. So be prepared. If you need to set your stop loss at 4% in order to make 8%, you probably shouldn't be involved in that shit to begin with. Think about that when you're doing stuff. That's having a plan. Rule number 1, no emotions. Rule number 2, have a plan before you buy. Rule number 3, have a backup plan. That's what stop losses are for. And rule number 4, for God's sakes, take your profits. If you don't take your profits, I will take your profits for you. In this game, it's you versus me. I don't want you to win. I want to win. Why do I say that to people? Because that sounds mean, right? Oh, it keeps being mean. No. Keeps telling you what the other people on the other side of the screen are thinking and doing. Don't think you're special. Don't think they're going to be friends to you. Don't think they're going to be nice to you. They're going to come after your neck and try to make your money from you. You have to have the same attitude. If you can't have that attitude, then don't get involved, folks. It's very clear cut. Don't get involved. Okay. We can help you get better at that. A lot of people made a lot of gains last bull run and then watched them dwindle away, watched them run away and fall out because they didn't know how to stop and take the profits. They just didn't do it. They didn't want to listen. They didn't want to hear it. We're here to help you guys through that. Okay. Now, 786unlimited.com. Yeah, I know that says EOS webcam utility because my fucking camera doesn't work, but that's where the website is. 786unlimited.com. I just updated the website today. I added a sweet little video in the background. It's the intro to what we do here. Also, I changed the website around, added some character bubbles and stuff like that, made it easier to click on. That's for mobile and PC version. Go check it out. Thank you, Tombstone. Keith, what's Matic going to do next week? Let's have a look. Matic. You guys know I have this on my list to buy. Just waiting for that good spot, and obviously it's not a good spot right now. I'd like to see it come back down here and test 236 at 80 cents. That's another 15% down. Fully possible. Let's pull a fib on this. This thing made a high and then started to roll over. 89 cents is a lock. After 89 cents, we'll see. If we can get down to 80 cents, that may be worth taking a dip in the water. Not a guarantee. Don't do anything stupid. It's your money. There are some gaps here in the chart. Like I said, it's daily or fair value gaps here. These may or may not get hit, and I don't want to give you any false hope. So I'll watch this carefully. I'll buy in as I need to, and I'll be ready. I just don't know if we're going to get a perfect price. This thing made a very early low all the way back in June, and it really held pretty strong all through the fall where most fell over and died. So this lends me to believe it's going to be a little bit of a fall over in the end of 2023. More worse than others, and you have others that won't do as bad in the fall. And I think this one will perform poorly in the fall, in the winter. But for the next week, I think we're going to come down and sideways some. No worries. Is the cup and handle the same as an upside down head and shoulders? Absolutely not, Studi. Let me show you here. All right, so let's do this one. Bitstamp. Let's erase this and erase this. So cup and handle goes as follows. You have to have a fall from resistance. This is what happened. We fell from resistance. You have to have the cup portion. The cup portion needs to fail said resistance or completely break it up to here. All right. That didn't happen here. It failed resistance. So that's the first part. Okay. You can't just start down here. Okay. Let me give you an example here. You can't make this and then say, oh yeah, that's definitely a cup and handle. No, it's not. That's way too low. You need to come up here and test or break this previous fail. Okay. And as you see, we've done that. We've got up here and we've tested it. We haven't broken it yet. Next, the handle can be between 38 to 60% fall from the stopping point, which is right here. So 38 to 60% is going to put us somewhere right in here. And then that handle comes over and breaks loose, breaks over the cup part. It has to break over the cup part. If it doesn't, it's just a failed retrace. If it breaks over the cup part, you're clear to test that and go up and test that and go up over and over and over again. That's a cup and handle pattern. Inverse head and shoulders is as such. You have four parts to a head and shoulders pattern. Shoulder, head, shoulder, and neckline. Same thing on an inverse head and shoulder. You have shoulder, head. You need shoulder over here. It's a potential price action like this. You need a defined neckline. Right here would be the neckline. And then after that, you need a break. After the break, you tend to get a test and then even farther up. That's an inverse head and shoulders. They're not always perfectly symmetrical. They're not always as clean as you'd like them to be. They're sometimes small. Nothing you can do about that. Just roll with it. That's the two different patterns right there that you're going to see a shit ton. And obviously, you're going to see them in the inverse of that. You're going to see regular head and shoulders like you see on the NASDAQ chart right now. I'll pull that up again so you can see it. Right here's NASDAQ. Clear cut shoulder, head, shoulder. This is going to come down here to this level. Question is, does it come down here and test this neckline? And if it does, that sets up a little move like this and a fall. All right, we'll see how far down, but that's a layup of a pattern. Yeah, always curious. Sorry for the typos. No worries, brother. If price just crossed the 50 fib and retested, when is it safe for you to for your take profit to be 127 and 141 fib, just not the 786? No, you're not always guaranteed that it'll run that far, Studi. Sometimes it only goes to 786, and you have to use your other indicators and kind of confluence to say, no, this one isn't going to go that far. No, this one's going to go a little farther, et cetera, et cetera. You have to kind of get a confluence and see, is momentum running out? Am I holding the trend line up, et cetera, et cetera. Fabio said no revenge trading. Exactly. Jeremy Monroe shared you some links right there as well. Thank you for talking about this. You're very welcome, bro. All right, so let's look at D now. Let's see if I can find this one. D now is a stock on the New York Stock Exchange. All right, so for the last several days, this thing has been up and at it. Look at that. Hella performer. Kind of driving sideways right now. RSI sideways. How about the weekly? Sideways on the weekly. How about the monthly? Up on the monthly, trending up. Yeah, you know what? I think this is going to do all right over the next several months. You got a bearish engulfing right now on the weekly, so you may get some more down that may come to, gosh, $11, somewhere around $11. And after that, you're going to see about this trend line. If you can hold this trend line, more up. If you fail this trend line, just come back down here to support right about this level, which is at about 8.5, 8.75 if it fails that trend line. So be very careful on this, one step at a time. It's going to move slow too. It's not going to happen real fast. All right, here's band. All right, got this fallen wedge on top of a broken trend. Kind of looks like Dogecoin. Like this. Kind of like that. Oh, hit the wrong button. Like that. All right. This is September 21, January 22. That's tough. I'm not exactly sure how that trend line needs to be. It's so choppy. That looks more realistic. Holding on right there. Hasn't completely rolled over and died yet. Do have a bit of retrace and starting to try to form back up and try to break again. I don't think it will. I think it'll likely butt its head on that trend line, best case scenario. It already did pretty darn well. This performed very well in November and hasn't really pulled back a ton since then, just a nominal retrace. Is it going to hold this fallen wedge? If so, there's some more meat on the bone right there. It kind of looks like it wants to right now. Indicators have kind of rolled over on the daily, and they want to cross over, as a matter of fact. We pull up the pivots here. You'll see you're under the pivot. That's another sign that it's probably going to stop out at no higher than 185. Keep an eye on band. Not sold. Yeah, got good support at 5100, 200 right there. All the moving averages are kind of balled up underneath it. That forms good support. A 200 retest wouldn't be out of the question at $1.50 something though. Okay, $1.55 perhaps, somewhere around in there. Better late than never. What's up, Corey? Good to see you, brother. All right, so let's jump through a couple charts here. Tesla getting absolutely blistered still, trying to pull back and recover. Okay, it had a bad morning this morning. It was up very well, and then that ugly bastard pulled way down pre-market and got stuck. Still under the trend line. Like I've told you guys, I've considered buying shares of this, just sticking to a retirement account. I can't do it yet because it hasn't broken trend and it's stuck. I need to see this do better. Until it does better, it's a no thank you for me. Just can't be a part of it just yet. Berkshire Hathaway broke trend. Not great for Berkshire. Sorry, Warren. All right, right here's the bottom, and let's grab the top. You can see a clear trend break right here. All right, that looks like it's heading to 382 at 296. 289 is a fully potential thing. Now, it could just be bouncing a short-term trend and go up higher. I can fully understand the argument for that, but I don't think so. I think it's got more down left in the tank here. It may be a little slow, won't go extremely fast, but I think it come all the way back down to 281 if it really, really wanted to. Currently testing some support. It may be a slow lagger. We'll see. Again, never really tested high time frame support, and it's way the hell down here. But wouldn't that burn Warren up for that price to come down that far? It probably won't do it. So that would break Warren's heart, I believe. Let me get a drink real quick. So pissed about my camera, man. Pisses me off. I mean, deactivate. What does that even mean? I think this thing updated, and I didn't want it to update. And think that's the problem. I'm pretty sure I had this problem last time. I got to go revert the bitch to an old one, and I got to set up the entire OBS again. So frustrating. Ethereum. All right, broken trend here, still has not retested. I fully expect to retest 1,400 to 1,200, 1,400 to 1,300. Worst case Ontario is it breaks through this wedge, which I doubt happens. I doubt that happens. I guess it's possible, but that seems improbable. A decent retrace back to this trend line would make more sense. But we'll see what the market holds. Again, if we see some more bankruptcies and stuff, you're going to see people panic. Again, we'll have already known this because we're going to get ready to sell no matter what, right? I'm always ready to sell no matter what. I'm never going to sit and hold on for anything more than the time the trend line tells me to stop, no matter what the asset is. Even if it was my company and I own the shares, if I see the trend line start to fail, hey, guess what? Keith is bailing. I don't have the answer to anybody. It's my money. All right. Again, that's probably the shitty thing to do. But again, this is about making money, not friends. Okay. There's a certain greed aspect that goes into it. Yeah. If you come out front and you say you're not going to do that kind of thing, you should own your word. Right. If you come out front and tell everybody when this thing starts trending down, I'm bucking the trend and I'm leaving. Right. It's a different story. I don't feel like that's too greedy. I feel like being straight up is the honest thing to do with people a lot of times. Hey, what's up, Ray? Good to see you, brother. He said, I can't believe you're up this early. I'm going to try to fix this camera after this stream when I get on Zoom. I'm still irritated about it. BNB. All right. BNB is potentially either under the trend line or bouncing around on it. I'm pushed. I'm not sure. It's choppy, man. It's choppy. It could be above it right now and just bouncing around, figuring out what the hell it wants to do. It still came up way too quick, got overbought, and is now suffering because of it. It's either going sideways or down. No up, no special moves anytime soon. Any up will be minimal here. I think these things may get tangled up in these moving averages, and we'll see what happens. We're either going to get an explosive move up or explosive move down, and I don't lean toward explosive move up just yet. I think we have one more move down. I think it's just a little bit masked. We'll see. You know, in the words of Raclette over in the Discord, we were talking, and he said, well, just to give you some quick psychology, you got a bunch of people who started the new year. They want to buy crypto. They bought it. It's going up. And they're like, oh, gosh, this is easy. That's a great analogy. Oh, man, this is easy. Anybody can do this. You haven't ever had to suffer. So I feel like there's some suffrage to come. Just don't know how bad it's going to be, okay? KG made an interesting point in the Discord as well. He said, you know, if things go bad, do you really think people are going to be running to the computer to buy their magical internet money? And that's a pretty darn good point, right? So I can't argue those. I mean, that's, you know, that's why I like having guys around me who don't always agree with everything I say. I don't want yes men. I want people who's going to be straight up with me. Digibyte. I got a good eye on Digibyte because I want to buy this, but it keeps playing games in my heart like Backstreet Boys. Or is that NSYNC? I don't remember. One of them freaking boy bands. Haven't failed this trend just yet, but I do expect to test it. So somewhere around between 0.0084 and 0.0086, I expect that to get hit. And then we'll see, does it fail or not? If this fails and wants to roll over and play dead and come back down here and test this blue trend line, excellent, because we're going to get a good buy-in if that happens. All right. It did go super overbought as well. It's clean for me, Jeremy. He said, is it just me with the fuzzy vid? Yeah, I got it in 4K. There again, that may be the problem too with the camera and shit. I can't really do anything about that if that's the case. It's not fuzzy on my end. Then again, I can only see so much over here on my little mini screen. USDT market cap has some weird wicks. What's up with that? All right, let's have a gander. Yeah, I don't fully believe those wicks. It looks a little hit and miss to me. Interestingly enough, you're seeing an increase in market cap, but you're seeing a sell-off on the coins. Why is that? Well, people are exchanging more, and they're buying more assets. Even though they're loading it up with money, they're buying more assets. So, question is, how much we're going to change here? We're going to depeg, blah, blah, blah. I never worry about that shit myself. Let's look at the dominance and kind of chart the dominance a little bit better. There we go. There's USDT dominance. Kind of see we're in this channel and we're kind of flirting with this midline of the channel. It's not drawn absolutely perfect. We could have already hit the midline of the channel. Point is, we're close. That much of a sell-off that fast, that's not sustainable. All right. We've seen this happen before when it had a big sell-off and then pop back up. Okay. Big sell-off. Eventually pops back up. Now, this one took a while right here, but this is also in the bull market. All right. We're not in a bull market right now. We're still in the bear market. I don't think stable coins are done for. Now, USDC looks a little worse. As you see, we had a big wedge right here and it broke it. Now it's testing the bottom of it. This wants to look to me like it wants to roll over and quit, which would signal people not moving into alts just yet. There again, I don't think that would happen until the trend changes anyway. So we need to still break this white line if we want to get to a higher point and move up toward 8 or 10% dominance. Hasn't come close to that just yet. I'm still hesitant to see this reverse. I know it's stuck under a trend line. I know it went oversold on the daily. See that? Oversold on the daily. You like to take chances when you see things that are oversold or use that as a market marker to say this thing's going to reverse back up. Nothing's happened just yet. Dollar index. Didn't want to forget this. Dollar index still sitting on strong support. Now I want to show you this, right? Right here's our support levels all the way back to 2016. See that? I just drew a horizontal line right there off those support levels. And look what the price is, sitting right at it. There's another one under that at $1 flat, $1.51. I'm sorry. Good thing I see happening here is it's not wanting to give up and quit. This long wick and big humongous spinner candle right here shows me that volatility is income. I like volatility at the bottom. I don't like volatility at the top. Okay. And we're down here toward a low, which is a bottom. I need to see a move up. I need to see a move up here. And we need to see some of these candles like this. I'm not sure we get that because this was the hardcore bear market over here. We may be on the tail end of that bear market, which is evidence to prove that that may be true. Give me sideways or up right here, and you'll see crypto roll over and play the same opposite move that the dollar index does. It takes a while for the transition to happen. There's a transition period, kind of where the dollar slows and the risk assets speed up, and then vice versa. The risk assets slow down. Risk assets slow down, dollar speeds up, et cetera, back and forth. There's a battle that goes on there. Total market cap. Similar story as Bitcoin. All right. You got a really, really aggressive run up that never quite got there. And this was actually the thumbnail. Goblin Town, another raclette thing he said. Are we going to go back down to Goblin Town? Not yet. We haven't done it just yet, right? We got really, really close. And honestly, I thought this structure would hold. I thought this structure was going to roll over and play dead. It didn't. Instead, the market reversed and played a little bit of mind games with everybody. And I'm not sure, again, this is sustainable. Similar situation, a more clean cup and handle here, though. And then a cup and handle that just butts its head right into the trend line. Let's be very careful. I'm not sure we're out of the water yet. In fact, the water looks like it's boiling and getting hotter to me. Are indicators 821 more successful in the weekly rather than the daily? Yes and no. It's trend dependent, Tombstone. What I want you to start doing is looking at your trend first and deciding whether the 821 EMA strategy is worth doing yet. All right, so pull this off, and let's pull this off, this, and we will leave the white line. I will take the white line. We'll leave these two. So this is the daily chart. Under this big yellow trend, okay, taking 821 crosses inside this downtrend right here is a risky proposition. You're not going to get the same consistency with the 821 under trend as you will once you've broken trend over here on this side. You'll get far more consistencies to buy, sell, you know, than buy, sell, and then buy, sell, and then buy, sell. And you'll have made 4 times as much by doing that as if you just did, if you just held and expected the price to continually go up. I pull the 821 cross up there for you, but to show you an example here too. You're a long way away from the trend line when this thing crosses. And because of that, when you get this 821 cross, you have a ton of leg room if this thing actually wants to run. And sure enough, 821 cross, and up she ran a really, really long way. Now, a good example of failure, 821 cross back here, 821 cross right here, 821 cross right here. All these eventually rolled over and played dead. This one just hasn't done it yet. It hasn't come back yet. 8 and 21 EMA are far apart. That doesn't typically last long. Go back and look at history. You see this? See this? They eventually come back together. See this? Eventually come back together. It's only a matter of time. This simply can't maintain. We talk about this all the time. So over trend, 821, you'll get much higher accuracy. Under trend, you're going to get lower accuracy. So be very careful picking your spots and be more careful. Weekly, you're going to see a similar situation, and you'll see extreme accuracy on the weekly with 821 EMA, especially if you do trend analysis first. All right. I'm not sure what Beast Mode just shared, but what is it? Just tell me what it is, Beast Mode. The back testing shows 821 is more successful on the daily. Absolutely. Now, you'll make more money on the daily for sure. And honestly, over trend, you'll make more money on the 4 hour than you will the daily. But it's trend dependent. Again, when you break those trends, it's time to cut and run. Get out. All right. So thank you all for being here. It's 11:59. It's about to roll over the midnight. Thursdays are always awesome for me. I like coming on here for an hour. I wish the camera worked. I'm sorry. I will have it fixed soon. Don't sweat it. Well, we'll be back live again Tuesday, 11 p.m. for 30 minutes. Wednesday, 30 minutes at 2 p.m. in the afternoon. And then Thursday, back this same time next week, 1 full hour, right back in your face. Monday morning, weekly roundup at 8:30. We're working on getting some extra stuff going on for that so we can start doing some options trading first thing in the morning. We're working on some other stuff in the background that I haven't told you guys about. We're getting close to 10,000. Please go like, comment, and subscribe. I appreciate every single one of you being here. Thank you all. I'll see you guys on the next live stream. I'll leave you with this. In the words of the late, great, notorious B.I.G., Shawn Michael, Diana, nice to see you too. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you chose to come here and hang out with me. I appreciate that. You'll never quite understand how much. Thank you all. Sky's the limit. See y'all on the next stream. Peace.